Rallies are one of the fastest growing forms of motorsport. In 1992, there'll be 20 international events in Europe and the Middle East alone, and there's even talk of a world championship. You need a big vehicle with plenty of power and an ability not only to sustain speeds of up to 130 miles an hour, but an eye to pick the best line across wild open terrain. A skill ably demonstrated by Middle East champion Saeed Alhajri. Apart from the odd gate as a control, there's little to guide the competitors. They are allowed to drive over the course in advance, but even so, some find it difficult to avoid the odd hidden hazard. Coming from Qatar, Saeed may well be at home in the open desert expanses, but with experience of conventional rallying, he's equally at ease demonstrating his raid machine on the off-road course at Millbrook's Proving Ground. The machine Saeed uses to such good effect is an American import, Ford's Bronco XLT, prepared by British team David Sutton Motorsport. I sat alongside him to see how he handled the 550 horsepower machine, but how did the conditions compare to those on a raid?
Roads here very muddy, very narrow. Too many trees behind the roads. You know, if you go off, you're in trouble. But in the Middle East, it's really open stages, big deserts, long stages. No problem if you go out of the stages. That's really the main condition different. Yeah. But a rally, it's rally. Always we fight for time.
But is a raid driving style different to a rally driving style?
It is a difference. I mean. It's not very easy really to come from a saloon rally, the normal rally we do before, and drive a big car like this. You know, we call it the mean machine. And I mean, really for the first two rally, I find it very difficult to drive it and to handle the car. It's a different way to drive. Also, to save the car for the longest stages. I mean, you have to also use your brain more than your feet.
Well, look, I've sat beside you. Now, you'll sit beside me while I drive?
No way. No, thank you. I have a navigator if you want.
Saeed's English navigator is Dave Nicholson, who not only plans the route, but helps read the road ahead. And I needed all the help I could get.
Ah, Dave, you're the brave man, are you?
Hello, Tiff. You will look after me.
Of course.
Helmets on, ignition pumps on, push the starter and the V8 bursts into life. Engage drive, and we're away.
Bronco. It's very easy to see why it's called the mean machine. It's all brute power and fighting the drift. The steering is actually very light indeed. So it's rather hard in a way to tell which way the wheels are pointing as you try to flick it in, put the power on, miss the posts and everything else. Some corners are very slippery indeed, and it's a question of knowing how much grip is available from the big all-terrain tyres. Trying to use the rally driver's technique of flicking the wrong way before you go into the next corner, and then getting the power down, making sure you don't over-rev the engine. It's very hard work taking the mean machine round such a tight, narrow track as this. Braking very good. Down to first, do the flick, hit the throttle, try and get the back to step out of line. But up the stairs a bit, down the hill, hold it tight, then put the power in. Another gear, this is the slippery corner, feeding in the power. Over this crest I need to try and stay tight in the ruts, which will help me get the power down. Head for the crest, but a bit offline there. But, well, a bit of extra road, that's what rallying's all about, isn't it?
After a few laps feeling the limits of adhesion, Dave muttered something about wanting to stop for a cup of coffee. Or was it something else? It's only really when you get out of the Ford Bronco that you realise what a big vehicle it is. It stands over 6 feet tall. The wheels are over 2'6" high. And under this bonnet, the 6-litre V8 engine really looks quite diminutive inside.
The tyre today, a radial mud tyre, most for the sand and the desert, it's found that the all-terrain tyre is better. If we can remove that wheel and tyre, we'll see there the massive 6-pot caliper on the disc brakes. Of course, the vehicle's four-wheel drive with a 50-50 power split front to rear. The front differential is a free differential, whereas at the rear, it's lock solid. Rear suspension, massive cart springs, whereas at the front, a more modern coil spring. But each of the four corners, the suspension movement is controlled by 3 dampers, which give a surprisingly soft ride.
Back on the circuit, and I really began to feel at home in the Bronco. I got used to the sensation of sitting so high up that it felt like driving on stilts. Flick right, swing left, power, power, power. Even Dave was beginning to enjoy himself. There's a desperate lack of visibility when trying to peer over the big square bonnet as blind crests loom up. And only growing confidence keeps the throttle open, but overconfidence can be the next problem.
I think that's about the maximum now, yeah? I think you found the limit of that one.